has their own trials and tribulations. Like, they're our own human in themselves. All these issues you have, that person has it too, and they're not thinking like. And if and again, if someone does have an issue with you, or it judges you in a way, it's none of your business, really.
Exactly.
Because that's their opinion and what they're like. They've come to that their own way. You've done nothing to make them think that way, and they've just, it's actually literally none of your business how they've come to that conclusion.
Reminder, you did not come here to play someone else's game, to box yourself in, or to let fear guide your choices. You came here to experience joy and abundance and to love the shit out of your life. The Trajectory podcast is here to remind you of a few important truths. 1, you are the creator of your reality. 2, anything that you can dream or imagine, you can create. 3, following passion is the quickest way to align you with your true path. 4, your reality is always a reflection of your current thoughts and beliefs, and those thoughts and beliefs can be changed at any time. You are amazing, and it's time to own who you really are. Tune in weekly to be reminded that you can create the life that you're dreaming of and to learn exactly how to do it. Get inspired by those who have been bold enough to follow their passions and have created their dream life because of it. If you're ready to stop playing small, stop holding yourself back, and start aligning with your trajectory, let's do it. We are with the queen of energy, DJ Nicole Tania, today. Holy shit, I'm so excited for this chat. So let me tell you a little bit about Nicole before we get into this convo. With a list of successes that are way too vast to count, Nicole has been a resident DJ at some of the most exclusive spaces in Sydney. If it's not DJing on a Redbull stage, Redbull truck, even all of the Redbull things, Nicole's doing a set at FBI Radio. If it's not Ivy, she's spinning tracks at the ARIAs. If it's not an appearance at APRA, it's a set on Glass Island. Oh my gosh. Nicole is not only one of the best female DJs in Sydney, she is the queen of work ethic, commitment, drive, and being fearless while making it look way too easy. And I can definitely can testify to that. She makes it look so easy. She actually made me want to become a DJ. But anyway, let's get into that later. That was a funny little stint. So if it's not enough, though, that she is this epic, beautiful DJ, she's also a qualified psychologist, a model, TV extra, and a businesswoman who's recently launched her new apparel brand, Beijing by Nicole Tania. Nicole is literally a master of lifting our vibrational frequency. That's what I see her as. She's just like this lighthouse that makes everyone else rise to her level. And that's what we're here for the podcast, the Trajectory podcast. That's what we're all about, raising our vibration and being the best, most amazing and passionate version of ourselves. So thank you so, so much for being here, Nicole. How you doing?
Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I feel really good after that introduction. I feel like I need you to be here every morning to say that as I wake up, and I'm like, it's gonna be
I'll send you a voice recording. Yeah,
every day. Yeah, actually, I'll just play the same one. What am I talking about?
Oh yeah,
I feel really good. I feel great today. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me and having me on this journey as well. Like, this is too cool.
Oh, honestly, I'm just grateful for your time. I don't know how you keep up with yourself. I can barely keep up with you on your socials. It seems like I'm seeing a post of you from the night before and you're doing this epic gig, and then the next day you're 2 states across, or you're overseas, or you're doing something. I'm like, how does she do it? So we're going to try and find out a little bit about how you do it.
Magic.
So yeah, it really is magic. So at this stage, and I know every week is so different as we've said, but what would you call a normal week? What does a normal week look like for you at this phase in your life?
This phase. Okay, normal week, I would say Monday, Tuesday is like my weekend. So nice. Monday and Tuesday is a lot of admin, so it's invoicing, trying to go to the gym and stuff like that, and organizing gigs that are coming throughout the week. The gigs can be any day. So let's say last week I had a gig for Milk Lab. It was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I did those 3 gigs during the day, 10 to 5, 7 hours a day, which was wild. And then on the weekend, I'll do a club gig, a private gig, branded, a festival, or an artist gig, whether that be in Sydney, Brisbane, Papua New Guinea, or Melbourne. So it is a lot of moving around and planning, which I do try to plan the week where I have a bit of downtime to not pass out. But it's always different locations, different people, different vibes, different projects and stuff I absolutely love to be involved in. So it kind of just keeps going. And I haven't passed out yet, so.
Well, I feel like every gig you go to, there would be like, you know, however many 100 people at each gig, and each of those people are seeing you and how epic you are. So you're just, without needing to sell anything, you're just getting more and more gigs, like coming off the back of your previous ones.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's a snowball effect. And like I'm grateful for that because it doesn't stop. I think, oh wow, it can be inconsistent sometimes. But then I'll do, a bigger gig, and all of a sudden like 10 new emails of hey,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, let's go. I actually just did a gig for Becca Hatch. We were on a little tour and someone spotted me, and now I get to do the Taronga Youth Ocean festival next June 8th at Taronga Zoo. So I was like,
Ooh.
it's massive. So
I'll
I'm really,
take that.
we saw you at this gig. We want to book you for this. I was like,
Oh, I love that so
that was
much. I love
available.
when it happens effortlessly. So do you have
Mhm.
like a team that help you with that as well, like the selling side of things, or is it literally just you?
No, it's just me. I
I
tried to
love
get a
that.
few management teams, and I tried to kind of jump on board to get them to help, but it was just, I don't know. I feel like I like to be in control. I know what's
Yeah.
being said. I can wrap my head around it. I can do all the admin. And when I bring other people in, it just like might not come across the right way, or it might get a bit messy. They might not have like, the best, like, or they might be busy as well with their own stuff going on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll do it all myself, like my own rates, own invoices, own admin, own management, own branding, promo, everything.
Hell yeah. I
It
love
keeps me
that.
busy.
That's
Yeah.
that is brilliant.
You
Oh
just
wow.
jump in the deep end, I think, and
Yeah.
just try to swim.
Yeah.
Sink or
But I
swim.
love it though. Like you said, it is you. You are the brand, so you're able to really protect that image. And I know, I'm not even going to say it, maybe one day. I know one day you'll cross paths with someone who gets it, who gets you, who is in a position they can help you, because you're going to get to a point where you're like, I actually can't manage this. It's too much. Like there's so much
You
going
get
on.
there.
And
Starting to
yeah,
get like that, I think. I'm
yeah.
really starting to be like, I'm starting to drown a little, and it would be great to have just one other person to really be like, book, like emails or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
I'm
coming.
like, we'll
Call it
see.
in. It's coming. It's so coming.
Anyone out there who's good at that?
Eee.
Help me. No.
So yeah, get over here now. So have you ever had a 9 to 5? Has that ever been a thing for you? Because what we like to do here at Trajectory is remind people who might be stuck in a 9 to 5 that they really don't like, that there are other options, and you can follow your path, you can follow your dreams, and you can, follow your passions and all that sort of thing. And I used to work a 9 to 5 that I hated for a long time. So I love hearing about people's stories. Like, have you ever sort of fallen into that 9 to 5 model, or have you always just been like, nah, I'm just a creative, I'm going all over the place?
It's interesting. I had a lot of jobs, a lot of different random jobs jumping around. I don't know if it was ADHD or boredom. But I think I had two kind of 9 to 5s. One was for Nike. But that was still kind of, sport related. It was still creative related. I could still go out to like kind of different workshops and stuff, and like travel around Australia doing campaigns. But that was technically 9 to 5. And then I started psychology, and that was 9 to 5 as well. And I didn't do very well with the consistency of every day. By Thursday, by Friday, it's like you just question reality. Like, what am I doing? What is the point of anything, really? Like, obviously, I'm giving back in the workplace and I'm doing my part, but it would come to a point where I'd be so burnt out, or just so like, why is this so repetitive? It's driving me insane. I'm going the same place, seeing the same people, doing the same thing, and I'm gonna pop. So, and I popped, and DJing was an outlet that was just a hobby. And then a friend opened a Caribbean club. I was like, bet, put me on. Like, my mom's from there, put me on. And then it just snowballed. People like, oh, you DJ? Can I book you here? Can you do this? Can you do that? And like, yeah, it was a lot of late nights, but I was like, this is so much better than doing the same mundane task where I might not have a big passion for. I'm just day in, day out going to a job that's, it's paying the bills, but it's kind of sucking a bit of my soul in a way as well. So yeah, I was kind of happy to just be like, okay, I'll pause that, see what this creative side has to offer, and then just doesn't stop now. Like, it's cool. Like, there's so many more opportunities now in this in this kind of world. So I'm very, very happy.
Well, you're just being yourself now. You know what I mean? You're not feeling like stunted in any way. And it's just like, I get what you mean when you say, even though it's late nights and stuff, so you might have to completely change your sleep schedule. it's still something you enjoy. So it doesn't
Yeah.
like impact you in a negative way. You know what I mean? It's like when you're doing something that's actually draining your soul, like you said, that's the real pain in life. And that's when I think a lot of people forget that they're the ones that have put themselves there. No matter what the circumstance, it is their choice to stay there. It's hard sometimes to get out, but you can get out and you can start making moves, whether they're tiny moves or big moves or whatever, but you can start moving towards the thing that you love. So for you, moving from psychology into DJing, which I love, that is such a contrast, like bam.
What?
So obviously it happened, like started to happen organically, and there were natural, you know, synchronicities and gigs that started to line up for you. But what was the moment? Was there a specific moment where you went, okay, I'm all in, this is what I'm doing? Or has it really just been a slow build and you're like, whoa, look at my life now?
I think it's initially it was like, yep, I'm in. Like I'm going for it because it hit hard. The serotonin, the dopamine hit. Like everything was so exciting when the DJing was kind of forming. So initially it was like, bet, like this is, I'm all in. And then there were a bit of, I think with the entertainment industry, there's so many different pockets as well that you can always be like, you can always do a bit of music, but then you want to maybe do a bit of like acting and modeling as well. So I was like, what else can I do in the entertainment industry that kind of adds to it as well, that's still like a creative or like expressing myself? So then I started kind of dipping into that. But I feel like it was a quick kind of, yep, I'm doing it. And then it was, okay, do it properly. So then kind of slow down and then like really map it properly with all the bits and bobs that you want. Put your foot in every pond to test which one you like, and then go from there. So there was a lot of late nights initially, but you won't catch me doing that much anymore because I've built somewhere where I can, you know, do earlier and I don't have to be up till 3 or 4. So like I kind of feel like, yeah, it was like a slow build, but now it's like, yep, I'm in the kind of pocket that I want. So I don't know. Yeah, that's a little difficult to explain because I definitely have like my second guesses, the inconsistencies of DJing, you know, and like having the, like still having to pay all the bills before like the decent paychecks were coming in. You know, it makes you question it. Like, should I go back to doing psych? Should I get a 9 to 5? This is a gamble. Like entertainment's a big, big gamble. And you might not always be relevant. So that was always like second guessing the insecurities and and then I kind of feel like I've gotten to this point. I'm like, oh, nah, I'm done with second guess the insecurities. And people will book me. There's always going to be a job. There's always going to be money, and there's always going to be a good time. And if you're a good time and you feel good in yourself, you'll get booked. It's just 100%. How it happens. Yeah.
Oh, like, I love that. And
just
the fact that you believed in yourself enough to give it the try, do it. But now you have the evidence, like you're saying, you've gotten to a point now where you're not doing that whole, you know, there is a inconsistency every now and then. I feel you, like even with, like I work full time creating video content for all sorts of companies, and sometimes it's just massive, busy, crazy, and other times it's usually just before tax time. Everyone decides to tighten their budgets and they're like, we'll make videos at the start of the new financial year.
Yeah, it slows down.
That's the thing. But as a creative, there's just no, I would never trade it for anything though. Like once you've been in both worlds, and you have as well, once you've sort of been in the more corporate sort of regimented space, and then you've experienced life out here, it's just, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. It's like,
I was about to say, I was like, don't put baby in the corner. Like, you just exactly. Don't do that. So, and I don't want to be, so yeah, it's definitely a good feeling. And then when you realize you don't want to be, you just have that more manifesting energy to like more jobs will come. Because you're like, I want to be here and I am supposed to be here. I am meant to be here.
I love that. And I think that is such a huge part of it. And I see that with you, like even just from watching your content from afar, I'm like, I can see that she's so aware that this is where she's meant to be. And because you've got that energy, you're just like attracting, you're magnetizing everything and everyone that you need to take you to that next level constantly. And it's amazing. It's so fun to watch. I love it.
Oh, shucks, you make me blessed.
It's true though. But so what was the support system like when you did that, when you're shifting out of a career of something that you've just studied? Like, did you have cheerleaders backing you, or were you like, I'm the black sheep and I'm just going to prove to everyone that I can do this thing that no one thinks I can do?
I definitely had cheerleaders. That was something that I really loved, and it really did help push me over the line to go for it, because I always thought DJing, music, nah, it's not. It's a gamble. You know, you want to have a proper job with a salary, and that's how it should be. But I definitely had a few cheerleaders when I was working at Nike, to the point where the security guard who worked at the factory outlet, the Nike factory outlet, was getting married, and he said, "My wedding is going to be your first proper gig." And he's like, "And I'm not having it any other way. If you don't DJ my wedding, I won't get married, and that's going to be on you." So he literally held it to me, and that's me jumping completely in the deep end. So the support network was really good. Did I do well at the wedding? I don't know. Like, there was music and people seemed happy. I look back and I think, oh my gosh, wow, like little cringe because it was so new and I was such a baby DJ, but you got to start somewhere. And yeah, no, I definitely had support networks. My parents were really cool about it too. My mom was a bit like, girl, are you going to just not do psychology, this whole degree that you studied? But I was like, the psychology kind of helps with the music as well, with being in a crowd of people and, you know, you notice head knocking or like a foot tapping to a certain like direction of music you're going into. You think, okay, well, I'll keep going in that direction.
Yeah, you can read. Yeah.
You can tell people getting a bit irritated because it's too loud, or you can tell like when it should be like kind of just like leveled up, when you should bump it up a bit, bring it back down. So I feel like it really helps too, like just in this career. I'm like,
Amazing.
I'm using the psych anyway.
I love that. I'm such a firm believer that, you know, there are no mistakes and you've studied what you've studied for a reason and it'll show itself when it's meant to. But the fact that you're already sort of integrating those lessons and you can read people like that, that is a gift as a DJ, right? Because it's very quick that people can go, oh, the mood has just changed and like you're the one that's conducting that whole space. Like it's not a small job. Yeah.
It's cool. Like, yeah, you can feel it. So it's like, oh, let me just switch this up and hopefully fix the party.
Yeah. So I've noticed you've been on tour a lot lately. I mean, you probably have been for the last few years, but I went off Insta for a while and I like lost touch with you for ages. And then I came back and I'm like, what the fuck, Nicole? What have you been doing? What haven't you been doing? So tell me, something I always wonder is what is tour life actually like for you? Like, what is it like? Because you also have a business on the side. Like, are you able to maintain that? Do you actually get sleep? Or are you like, I'm literally in for a marathon. If I get sleep, that's a bonus. But, you know, what's tour life like?
It's awesome. First of all, I absolutely love it. Don't get me wrong, it's tiring, but I love it. It depends on who I'm on tour with. So I DJ for a few different artists. So I went on tour with El Fresh the Lion. We did New York and Canada last year, which was phenomenal. That one, Elle was really like level-headed, real like talented, absolutely amazing human, one of my best friends. So that tour was really cool because it was planned well. No one's really drinking or partying too hard. Like, we're really focused.
Nice.
Just went off a tour with Becca Hatch and the Mahalia tour, the British artist. And Becca is absolutely incredible. She's a sweetheart. And she's got a real, like, professional kind of, like, mindset. So, again, that tour was really chill. I'm not a big person to go out and party the night away or go hard on tour life or anything. So I appreciated that the people that I tour with seem to be quite similar. But I absolutely love it because we go out to dinners and you create really good memories and you go to the airports and the lounges and you meet so many new people, like the sound guys, and then you see like different artists performing, different locations, and sometimes you'll have a travel day, like a whole day where it's free. So one of the days me and Becca got up at, I think, 5:30 a.m. to catch the sunrise in Perth. So that just little things like that, I don't know, it makes it really like fulfilling and worthwhile. So tour life for me so far has been like awesome. I'm low maintenance too, so I don't need a lot. I can like live out of a bag for weeks. So I'm like, yep. And I'm reliable too. So I'm never like stressed or anything. Everything's kind of sorted. So I love tour life. I think it's the best thing.
Oh, wow. You've just sold me on it. I'm going to get into music more.
It's just
that sounds amazing. Honestly, because that's the only thing. Sometimes I wonder, because I'm only just now getting back into music, and I'm like, if this does go in a good direction, which I'm calling in that it will, then there may be potential tours on the way. And instantly my like hermit, very homebody self is like, oh, like I'm so used to working from home now. So that would be a big shift. But I mean, that sounds fantastic. And that is what I imagine. Like you were saying, even the dinners, like that's so cute. I love that. Like I love a good dinner with a bunch of different people, especially with creatives when you're all touring around. Like that's amazing.
Yeah. I love that.
So What kind of conversations are you having with yourself before you get on stage? Like, do nerves ever kick in, or are you just literally like, nah, this is just I'm just jamming?
I used to get nervous. I used to get very, very nervous, but nervous about the fact that I'm in control of all the music for this whole venue. And if something goes wrong and I haven't learned how that part works yet and I can't fix it, like I will freak out. But luckily, like I like to know kind of how everything works. So I'm always like, if there's an issue, like I can usually fix it, or there's like a quick solution, then I'm like, okay, what can I do right now? Um, but yes, there are those bigger gigs that is pretty crazy to just walk out to and everyone's just staring at you and you're like, yo, what's going on? Like Adelaide or Melbourne. Those ones can like get me like a bit like whoop, just beforehand. But I'm genuinely a confident person. I'm pretty secure. So I'm like, look, these people are just here to have a really good time. Like, it's all good. These are all your friends in a way. So just go out and just be like, yo, what's up? And we're going to have a good time. And you guys are going to come along for the ride. And that's why we're here. Everything's great. So the nerves are pretty minimal, pretty low.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that. That's so good to hear that you're just enjoying it. So what happens if you do have a day where you're like, oh, like whether it's energetically low, whether it's day one of your cycle, whether it's like, I've just had a, big emotional thing happen and now I got to go on stage and be like, hype woman. What are you saying to yourself then? How do you make that transition? Have you got like an avatar or like a superhero mask you put on mentally or what?
There's two things I think about when that happens. And it's one is Rihanna when she's like, you just fake it. Like, you fake it. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sit around and be sad or mope? Or are you going to go do this chunk of like a gig and nail it and fake it? And no one's going to know, because like what happens when you do fake it, it starts to like become real. So then the music kind of carries me. That one doesn't always work. Like it can be like, I don't want to fake it. But the second one is, I always think of Katy Perry when she was doing her tour and she had this massive show on, and literally what her partner at the time, whatever he is, I forget his name, the guy with the long hair, texted her just before she went on stage and said, I like wanted a divorce. And she was like gone. Like she was gone. And she still got her ass up and played the show of a lifetime and just did it so perfectly. Like her talent, she was true to herself, her craft. She didn't let it like screw anything up. She gave the people what they wanted. And that to me just spoke levels, because I was like, wow, if you're literally, your world is crumbling, like the worst thing has just happened and she's there shaking 5 minutes before call time, like, and she still did it, girl, I was like, you can do it. Like, you really can, and carry it with you. You don't have to be super, super happy and energetic all the time. And if something's really messing with you, my therapist used to always tell me, just carry it. Like, carry it with you. Take it with you. It's okay. And people ask, you can tell them, I'm not doing so well, but I'm here and we're going to have a good time. Like, I got this. So, yeah.
Amazing. I love that. I love that you've got a couple of anchors, though, that you sort of think of both those women and are like, yeah, I got this.
Just strong women.
Wow. Well, out of all the things that you do, what is your favorite part? What is the favorite thing?
What is my favorite thing?
It's a hard one.
I don't know. Oh, honestly, this is okay. It's not what I do, like physically. That's my favorite. It's what is a kind of an outcome of what I do, and it's probably tied into the psychology as well. But I think, for me, I get a kind of relief when I do a really good job, like DJing a party. Everyone is actually like smiling and so happy, and there's so much love in the room, and it's brought people together. I feel like for me the best part is that kind of, I want it like relief, or like it's satisfying, like a really, really satisfying feeling where I can take a deep breath and be like, I did that, or I added to that. Like, I helped create this, and it's always a space where it's positive. And it doesn't always feel positive, but like it's always like, well, if it's not positive, let's just try our best to do what we can in this situation, have a good time. And I don't know, I get like a really big satisfying feeling from that, from walking away from a party and thinking, someone could have come into that gig feeling the worst, absolutely horrible. I don't know what's going on in everyone's life. and they could have walked out of that party like, wow, I actually genuinely feel so much better, like better energy and better vibes because of the music or because of the environment. So I'm like, I think that's my favorite.
I love that.
It's
yes,
cute.
that
People
would
can be really
amazing.
cute.
Oh,
adorable.
Yeah, you would see so many moments. Hey, like
Yeah,
you would just be, you'd be like, oh yeah, I see you watching her while you're with her, and like,
man.
vice versa. Like,
people watching is so good. It is so great. Like,
have you ever played? Have you ever played a song because you saw a moment? You're like, I want to help this moment. Like some romance is blossoming. You're like, oh, I so got these people. They don't even know what's coming.
100%. I have done that solely because I'm like, you two are dancing, having a great time, and like people are requesting songs. Pardon me, but I know exactly what is going to work for you two. And like, you just do it. Sometimes they'll notice, sometimes they won't. Like, you'll get a bit of a but I'll be like, and then it's just me in my own mind being so amused. So I'm like, this is so fun.
Oh my gosh.
It's like this kind of control, but,
just
without being
master.
really, like manipulating, but in like a positive
but for
way.
love. Yes, exactly.
I'm helping. I'm giving back.
I love it. I think, honestly, DJs should all have psych degrees after talking to you. I really do. I think that's such a like beautiful like asset to your arsenal there going, I can make this crowd move the way I need it to. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a little superpower.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far and getting a lot of value out of it. I'd love to ask you to take just a couple of seconds to rate and subscribe to this channel. Once you do that, take a screenshot, let me see that subscribe button hit and the rating, DM that to me on Instagram at Trujectory, one word, and I have a gift for you. I'm going to send you a link that's going to lead you to some digital artwork. These are pieces that are all original photography. I've gone out in nature and taken some beautiful shots. I've got some quotes over the top. I've got some affirmations. And these are pieces that you can blow up to any size that you wish and hang them around your home or your office. And they're going to keep you in a positive mental headspace at all times. Whenever you look at them, they're really calming, beautiful pieces. So thank you so much in advance for rating and subscribing. I really appreciate your support. It's going to help us get these messages out to a larger audience. And I want this space to be somewhere that you can come every single week to be supported, to be motivated, to be inspired, to be reminded that you can create the life that you choose. And all of the beautiful guests that I have on every week are examples of just that. So thank you in advance. I've got so much love for you. Stay true, and I'll see you soon. So, I mean, for as long as I've known you, you've always been a ray of sunshine. Like, have you always been like that since you were young? Or is it more so like every day just keeps getting better because you're doing what you love and your career is amplifying and people are coming in that get you and all of that?
Curious. I feel like as a kid, I was always happy. I was always a happy kid. Always played a lot of sport and was always like happy, like good to have a good time. But I think it's more recently that it's like I'm consistently happy and a ray of sunshine. Obviously I have my bad days. No one's like perfect all the time. But I did get diagnosed with did that cut out? Check 1, 2. Oh yeah, there we are. I was saying I did get diagnosed a couple years ago with autism, and it makes so much sense to me, and it is such a big relief to know. So I might not have been like a super ray of sunshine as a kid because I was really confused. It's kind of why I study psychology, to kind of figure out why people do what they do, because I didn't really understand growing up. And since I think I've got this diagnosis, gone on this kind of like, it's about 3 years now, like really made a good path of where I'm at in this career, I can't not be happy. Like I can't not just enjoy, because now I'm like, okay, well now I know what's going on up here and I'm not so confused and irritated, or I don't burn out or put too much pressure on myself or guilt, so I can now accommodate that. And now I'm like, the world's actually just adorable. No one really knows what's going on, no one really knows what they're doing, but we out here, and everyone, and I used to always think people, they're looking at you or they're judging you. I'm like, girl, they care about their own lives. Like no one's really that deep into like judging you or like picking on your insecurities or saying you're doing it wrong. And as a kid and having autism, and I didn't know, that was a big problem, because I would always have people, you're doing that wrong. And I would take that as Bible. I'd be like, well, I'll just do this then. Now that I'm like, oh, I could do anything. Like there is no limit. Like obviously legal. Well, I'll keep it legal.
There's a little bit, yeah.
But there's little limits here and there. But no, I've gotten to this stage where I'm like, just enjoy. Like,
yes,
it's a massive relief, and it's like money will always be there. Food will hopefully, like if we're lucky. But it's just like everyone's crazy. Just enjoy.
It's so true. I
think the
love
ray of
how
sunshine comes from that.
that's beautiful. And that really amplifies what I'm always ramming down people's throats. Do what you love, follow your passion, you will freaking feel better. Like that's the thing that you're meant to do, right? You have passion for it for a reason. So there's a part of your soul that's like, this is the thing we came here to do. And the more you ignore that, the more your body is just going to be in dis-ease, like constantly. You're going to be, yeah, exactly. And so people can get very good at ignoring that. But yeah, I love what you're saying about how, first of all, people don't care as much as we think they care. Like that's something that we all struggle with for so long, and we're all struggling with the same thing. So like, even just look at that. The fact we're all thinking everyone cares means we're all thinking about ourselves thinking,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's
not
just
thinking
hilarious.
about that guy. Everyone has their own trials and tribulations. Like they're our own human in themselves. All these issues you have, that person has it too. And they're not thinking like, and if someone does have an issue with you or it judges you in a way, it's none of your business, really.
Exactly.
Because that's their opinion and what they're like, they've come to that their own way. You've done nothing to do that, like to get that way or to make them think that way. And they've just, it's actually literally none of your business how they've come to that conclusion.
It's so true. Like, and we think, like you said, that everyone else has got it sorted as well. And it's like, guys, like, let's all be kind to ourselves. We're all still figuring it out every day. And then I do it as well. Like, yeah, that's the thing. And like you learn something and you have like a big breakthrough, whether it's emotionally, physically, whatever. And you go, okay, I've got it. And it's like, oh no, there's still 50,000 things I got to learn about myself. Oh, this just keeps going. And it's like just making peace with that. Yeah, it's taken me a long time to make peace with that and go, we're actually just a continual work in progress until, we go back home.
I absolutely love the video you put up on YouTube of that. Like, it was just like opening up about it and being so like raw and deep and honest. And I think that's just something I really like. And I messaged you because I'm like, that resonates with me because it made me so happy didn't make me happy that you were low, but it made me happy that you came to this like realization of, okay, what do I want and how do I get that? And and you're like taking all the right steps, and my opinion. So I think, I was just really like really admired that, like it was a big inspiration. So then when you hit me up for this, I was like, I am here. Let's spread the word. No one cares that much. Do what you want.
Right? Yes, exactly. That's the thing. But like, even in that, I had so many days where I was making that for like almost a year because it didn't take that long to make, but it was procrastinating and doubting it and then second guessing and then going, maybe I'm not going to post it. For anyone who has no idea what we're talking about, which is everyone, I made a vlog, which is the first time I've ever made like a cinematic vlog. I film for a living and the first time I turned the cameras in on myself. So that alone was fucking hard because like you've got no one filming you, so you got to get creative. But I was telling the story of when I went through some health issues and all the things that kick you down and then eventually sort of turned it around. But even just when I finally posted it, it was such a relief because I was like, finally, I got out of my head and just let it fly to do whatever it's meant to do. And when you hit me up, I was like, that is so beautiful. You're someone who inspires me. And you've just written to me going like, this really like hit me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it did its thing. This piece of creation that was meant to be out there, not just stuck in my head. Again, like causing dis-ease in my body because I'm holding onto it. Just if it's meant to come out, just let it go and it's going to touch whoever it's going to touch. So thank you, love. I so appreciate that. That made my day.
No, that's all right. And thank you. Like, seriously, this stuff is important because you never know who you're going to actually reach. So I'm like, yeah.
More of these combos. That's the thing, right? I mean, like, it wasn't so long ago that you and I didn't grow up with internet, right? Like, that's crazy to think about. Like, I had someone, I think... Yeah, I think it was like a post on Insta I saw the other day where someone was like, hey, why didn't we get any credit for like learning the internet? Like when we started, it was, do you remember the sound? Do you remember the sound it made when it was like screaming? Yeah. They're like, the internet used to scream.
Cuts out.
Yes.
Get on the phone. I'm trying to Google something.
What's Google?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's so crazy. But now we have this incredible, like, interconnected everything. You say something and it could be heard by someone 5 countries over. So the more we have these conversations, it's spreading so fast. It's incredible. And I mean, something I've had to come to terms with a lot recently because of doing this podcast. I'm learning so much every day. That's why I love it so much. But I struggled for a little while to talk about certain things I wanted to talk about, even that vlog, like the topics of it, because I felt like, well, everything's been said before, you know, people have already said this. And the truth is, everything has been said. It's just that we didn't necessarily have the access to hearing so many people talking about these sorts of topics. But the beauty is, if it has already been said, but it's a positive, that's fantastic. We're just embedding it more and more into the collective. We're just
reminding people.
Yeah. Repetition, right? Put in the reps. So more of these conversations, the better. I absolutely love it. Anyway, that was a tangent. We got to get back. We got to get back to the amazing life of Nicole Tania. I just saw like an old school commercial like playing in front of my mind. Yeah.
It does look a bit like a commercial.
Yeah, it does. You look like you're in Barbados or something.
I wish.
Okay, so do you have any non-negotiables, any daily rituals or practices to keep yourself in a positive mental space, in a good vibe?
Oh, the fact that I'm thinking about it makes me want to say no, not any consistent ones. But I do have a really cute small dog that kind of starts the day off for me in a really positive way because he's just so excited for anything and everything.
So much energy.
And he, like, I'm his whole world too. So he's just like, yeah, let's go. So his energy then makes me be like, yeah, let's go. Like, so then I get up, you know, take him out, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym. And then, so I feel like probably my small dog is that.
I love that.
But otherwise, like, I would probably just wake up and I do like to start the day with a bit of, like, a few affirmations. I think they do help to, like, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yeah, you're cool. Like, you know, you got this. It's easy. Like, don't worry about it. Everything's gravy. Like, and if something bad has happened, I'll be like, no one's going to remember this in 5 years, you know? So I kind of, like, have a little weird conversation with myself sometimes in the mirror. That I'm like, what's good? I'm like, oh, you look all right today. You look pretty cute. So that's kind of something that I'm like, yeah. Like a little back
I love both of those things.
It's a little strange talking to myself, but I think, like, if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love, you know, anyone else or
100%.
Like, let anyone else love you? So
absolutely. I think the more I've been in the long-term relationships and now I've had some time to myself, and the amount that you learn about yourself when you're single it's something that I'm so passionate about, because the place that I'm at right now, I would not have gotten here if I was in a relationship, because in the future I might have a more healthy relationship because I've done that healing. But when you don't take the time to actually do that healing, then you're not actually representing yourself. Like you're saying, you're actually representing yourself. You're backing yourself. When you speak to yourself in the mirror, you're reminding you that you've got your back. And that is a superpower in itself. But to come into a relationship without that, then you lean, right? It's like this old school saying that my friend always tells me. It's from an old prophet from Lebanon. He's amazing. His name's Khalil Gibran. And he talks about 2 pillars. You might have heard of him. He's like so epic. Everything he says is like, oh, it's like butter for your mind. Wait, is butter good on your mind? Who wants that? Anyway,
better than margarine.
It's smooth. Yeah, that's definitely true. But he talks about 2 pillars and saying, like, a relationship is like 2 pillars. And imagine a roof over 2 pillars. If they're not both standing strong, if they're too far apart, the roof's going to fall down the middle. And if they're too far in, the roof's going to wobble either way. And if one pillar's leaning on the other one, it's awkward. So you need 2 strong, firm pillars that are standing firm in their own foundations. And that's what you get when you get to have time to yourself. And yeah, I just think it should be compulsory. Like, if people go through high school in lots of relationships, then from 20 to 25, you need to go and be single. Like, that's law.
Live alone for at least 6 months. Just, like, at least go. Otherwise, the codependency is real. And then, like, it can be fine. But yeah, if you get like a tricky relationship, oh, dude, you just kind of lose yourself. And then you don't really know. You're like, oh, what? Like, where is the support? So, yeah, I agree 100%.
And because we're all constantly changing, right? Like we were even talking about that before, we're constantly evolving. So if you're not constantly working on the relationship and continuing to like review it, my friend and I have come up with this amazing idea that whenever the next person is, we're going to have like yearly reviews, like a yearly day where you sit, you put everything on the table and you're like, are you still happy? Am I still happy? What can we evolve here? How can we make this better? But it's like literally, let's just look at this clinically one day a year and go, what's working, what's not working? Let's work this out.
I mean, that makes complete sense. That's logical because I think it's an agreement. So you might as well like, is the agreement and the contract still sitting pretty? Like, do we want to make adjustments? Are you good?
Yeah,
like
for both
in with
parts.
the client, really. So
that's the thing, yeah.
I think it makes sense. People are like, oh, it takes the romance out of it. I'm like, no, but it just implements like really healthy structures. like,
yeah, exactly. I think there's something to this. We shall see.
Logical to me.
yeah. Okay, so we're almost on to the final three. I just have one question before we get there. I love the final three. So more of a big picture sort of question. What are 2 to 3 things you can think of that you would love to add to the school curriculum if you could? Like, what would you love kids to learn earlier on in life? It might even be what we were just talking about.
yeah, probably. Yeah, that actually would add to it. The first thing that comes to my mind is like tax and finances. So
thank you.
Business, finance, tax, things like that. Like the real world, what actually is tax? How do you actually own a home? What are the steps to kind of getting there? What you need to kind of like, sort out. Yeah. That would have been phenomenal, like if it was just like in the curriculum. Another thing, I reckon, obviously, I think just more on the planet kind of and like the health of the planet, things like that. I've definitely tried to do more just like living more sustainability and just give more about like the environment, plastic free, like stuff like that. I think should be implemented just a bit more, so it's just a bigger deal for kids to realize. So I feel like that's always a bit inconsistent. I had one more and it's just slipped my mind. What were you?
Let me play some backing music for you. It's like an elevator song.
It was. I like that. That was actually quite nice. I was like, yeah, I could sample that. I feel like it probably related to that was probably just something along the lines of just being actually no, and then I think psychology as well. Like I feel like there should be like a level of psychology too to understand like all kids are different. You know, you have this curriculum that's kind of goes across the board for all kids, except like obviously if you're like a support unit or in the kind of like a different class. But I kind of feel like there should be a level of like psychology understanding each kind of person and you know, and then things might not get missed. I do get a bit annoyed that my autism got missed as a kid, but for noticing it in a female is always really tricky. But it's something that I would have it would have been phenomenal to know. But then I didn't even know where I would be. So technically everything's meant to pan out the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah. No mistakes. I think
planet, a bit of like tax and home and how to actually do that, and then psychology and kind of like working with your peers and understanding people's minds.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah, that's good. It'd be great. I think it would be a lot nicer and not as cranky.
More understanding. But even like you're saying, even when you understand yourself more, it's like you can take an exhale. You're like, oh, I can stop judging myself for not being like this or not doing the things the way I'm supposed to or I think I should. I am a bit different. Like, yes, we're all the same in so many ways, but we're all one of a kind. So we all have our own unique quirks that we've got to just be okay with. And it takes so long to get there. So doing that in school would be amazing.
And you just make better choices. And I think that's why I was doing the developmental psychology, and actually kind of why I stopped was it got very heavy. I was working with Aboriginal children and it got super, super, super heavy. And that's when my friend, the security guard, was like, DJ my wedding, come on, it'll be okay. But I always think about that. It's about that choice of like knowing who you are so you can make better choices and just be more aware. Because some people just are so ignorant and just have no idea, which is fine. Like it's not like a bad thing, but if you really knew who you are, what you wanted, all your intentions, all your choices would be pretty like on par with kind of what direction you want to go in.
Oh, I love those three. They're fantastic. So We're on to the final three. So I love this question. This is actually my favorite question that I ask all my guests. And it's because we so often and so easily and effortlessly look at other people and admire the qualities that we like in them, right? We're like, oh, that person's so good at this, or that person's so beautiful, or they've just got their shit together, whatever it is. So I want to take this few moments to turn that all around, and I want you to tell me 3 qualities that you love about you.
About myself.
About yourself.
Qualities. I was thinking about it. I wrote a couple down because I was like,
yay.
Oh.
Yeah, it can be tricky.
I do really like that I'm very reliable. I'm a very reliable person. If you want me to be at a specific job, at a timing, friends, support, whatever. I like how professional and reliable I am. I think that's definitely like a really good quality, and it creates, I don't know, and then other people feel really secure and they can like lean on you. They're not so big to be like, oh, you got to be on time. Are you sure? You know, and you don't have that kind of sheepish shame feeling when you're like late. Oh, I'm always late. Or so I like to be like reliable, and that makes me feel good in myself. Positive, always, and we're talking about that all before. It's looking at a situation in a positive view. You know, someone merges into traffic in front of you, and someone who's a cranky driver, oh, this person's merged in front of me, you know, God, they're in my way. Or it's like someone's merged in front of you and you're like, oh, yeah, of course, like, by all means, you're more than welcome to drive here. Like, not a big deal, you know, I'm not holding on to that. Even that's such a small situation, there's just so many in the day-to-day life that we can just take a negative angle and it will really just, like, screw up the rest of the day or the year or whatever. Do it from a positive way, be a bit more understanding, then you'll probably like just be a bit more calm. And that goes into the third thing, which is understanding. So I'm a very, very understanding, probably from the psychology stuff, obviously, and just kind of like observing people and why they do what they do, and kind of understanding, you know, they made that decision or that choice because of this, potentially. But I've just come to this point in my life where you can understand, but if someone's doing the same behaviors that's quite bad to you, you can understand it, but you don't have to tolerate it. So that's something I'm like, okay, I'm very understanding, but I'm now also trying to implement like boundaries that don't affect me negatively, because someone might, they're just, oh, I'm sorry, I'm like this because of this. I'm like, okay, that's all good, but I need you to work on you and not keep kind of repeating this and expect me to stick around and support when it becomes quite stressful. So those 3 things, reliable, positive, and understanding, I think are my 3 favorites.
I love those. And it's so true, so important what you were just touching on to, the difference between being understanding and then just being a doormat, you know, like, and it's so easy to fall into that, especially if you're very empathetic and you feel things so deeply when other people feel them. And also, for empathetic people, they don't necessarily want to cause any waves, because if someone else is in distress, then they're in distress. So they're like, it's okay, you're late again, it's okay. And then that's when you start to lose more and more of yourself. So good on you for finding that balance, because that is very tricky. And that's going to change everything for you.
It's still a process, but it's something I'm trying to be conscious of and put up that boundary and just communicate it. It's just like, hey, grown human, I understand that this is happening, but for me, this is how I'm feeling. Take it as you want, like, all the best, but I'm putting up a boundary. And then, is everything okay?
I'm gonna go freak out.
I know. I'm getting better now. I'm like, no. You communicated that just great. You know, you did everything. You're honest and communicated. Those 2, honesty and communication. Oh, you can't really go wrong.
Those are the moments where you go back to the mirror and you look at yourself and you go, yes, good job.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, good work. You're not a doormat. Yay.
Because really, like, the truth of it all is, and I say this to people all the time, and it's so simple, but we just fail to do it. It's exactly what you just said. Communication is everything. Every problem could be resolved if we were completely crystal clear with our communication at all times. And even if it's awkward, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's like, I feel like I'm repeating myself, whatever, being really clear on how you're feeling, why you're feeling this way, and, you know, and now it's in your court and blah, 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 like you just said. That's it. That's the best we can do.
Feelings, like, it's, I'm not trying to, but I need to be honest. Like, and I'd rather you knew than say, you know, stringing someone along or someone thinking a certain way. And it's like, this is just me being honest, and I hope you can respect that. and let's move forward as grown adults.
Yeah, I love that. Hello, grown human.
Hello, grown human.
Let's commence this conversation as grown humans. Let's not revert to our childlike natures. Yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
I love that. And then meanwhile, I also want everyone to act like a child more, because like we need more play in our lives.
Yes.
It's such a balance. Human life.
The inner child, you know, like, you need to be like that. But don't be childish with,
Yeah, exactly. We're so
rules.
Complicated. I know. I love humans. We're so
cute.
silly.
Two silly little goofy balls.
Silly muffins. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Seriously. I laugh at humans all the time. I love us. We're so ridiculous.
Great. Yeah, no, we're hilarious. Like, it's really entertaining. Like, it genuinely is. I'm like, you just went and did that. Wow.
Yeah, that happened. And you would have the best view in the room most times of all of this unfolding. You'd be like,
100%.
wow, they're not watching me. Like, you're the audience and they are the show. Like,
dude, honestly, I feel like you'll catch me. If you see me, anyone sees me at a gig, you will be a high chance you'll catch me giggling at something. And it will look weird because I'm standing by myself and I'll be like, but like, you'll look and you'll be like, oh yeah, I think. Or just come ask me. Just be like, hey, what are you noticing? I'm like, let me let you in on what's going down.
Come over here. Come see this. I love that. It's so good.
So cute.
Oh my gosh. So I think everyone has a different definition of this, and this is why I love this question. But what is your definition of living in your purpose? What does that look like to you? Living in your purpose.
I think it's taken a while, but I think the best words, the ones that I wrote down, was definitely like, be more unapologetic. You don't have to say sorry for everything. You don't have to say sorry for being in the way. You're not a burden. You know, you belong here. And I think also being a brown woman in music, that was always something initially that was a bit, which sounds funny because a brown woman in music is so like around a lot, but in Australia, trying to kind of do it here in Sydney, it was always a bit, I always kind of second guessed myself as a kid growing up. So I was like, oh, should I even really be here? So be unapologetic. So living in your purpose. And I also think the word for that too, which I think is a bit more like, is savage. So you don't have to be savage to the point where you're ruining other people's like lives or situations or instances, but to be savage with what you want, how you want it, take control of that, and then communicate that, and only kind of receive that. So I think living in my purpose, like, it's definitely confidence, more unapologetic, and being savage. And the confidence speaks levels too, because I might not always be the most confident person, but I'll always look like I'm the most confident person, which I think really helps. So it's about, standing tall, like you are supposed to be here, walking confidently, and then just being kind to people. It really goes a long way. So
Massive.
like I do it on purpose, but it's wild to me how, going into like a job or something and meeting people, like the more like accommodating and nice and understanding and all those things you are, just the better it all runs and the better they feel. You can see this kind of like stress just decrease. So I think that's what it's kind of like living. Does that answer the question?
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
An interesting question.
It is, and that's the thing, and this is why I love it, because it can be looked at from so many different angles. But I love that those are like the main features to you that represent you being in your power, in your purpose, and I love that. It's so spot on. But yeah, the kindness one. Isn't it fascinating because like same with me when I go onto gigs and you're unpacking the gear, and generally camera crews, I don't know why. And if you're in a camera crew and you disagree with this, please hit me up. I'd love to talk to you. Most camera crews are assholes and I don't get it. Yeah. I'm so nice. My coworker and I, we love like just spreading a bit of smiles and being so nice for everyone. But you see that, like you were saying, you see almost like a relief when you rock up to a gig and we're like, hey, how you going? What's new? What can we do? How can we make you feel more comfortable on camera? How can we? And they're like, oh my God, like
it makes you think like how many people beforehand have been, a problem or an issue or like created something, which like, I mean, there could have been issues, but it makes me think about other people. I'm like, oh, well, are they not friendly to you usually? Because you'll get that breath of fresh air. They'll be like, oh, you're really lovely. And I'm like, isn't everyone?
Isn't this normal? Yeah, you do like start to think that, hey, and then you meet someone that's not, and you're like, whoa, what's that like?
Exactly. And then there was one thing I wanted to add about living in your purpose is the confidence thing. I also do for the younger brown girls and all the generation like lower that can actually physically watch and be like, wow, I want to be like that. So it's like a role model kind of vibe, which also adds to it. Because I just, seeing younger kids, I'm like, yo, you can do anything you want. Like, you really can, you know? So I like that too.
You really can. We got to tell the kids that so they can tell the adults, because the adults don't believe it, you know? So
pushy.
People like you doing what you're doing is just giving that example. You know, look at me. I am literally living the life that I wanted to. I created this thing based on doing what I enjoy. Exactly. It's possible. It's very possible. So speaking of that, final question for anyone who might be listening, who's in one of those jobs we talked about that might be a 9 to 5 that they might not particularly like, and they might have a little spark. What if they have a spark in them that's like, I want to be a DJ, but I never believed in myself, or I want to go and work with kids, or I want to do whatever it might be. What would you say to them as the first, 1 or 2 steps that they could start taking to start moving closer to that thing that they actually want to do?
For me, I would say sometimes I feel like it would look like just a massive mountain for someone who wants to like embark on it, and it's just really daunting, and they'll be like, oh no, what if I'm not accepted, what if I'm rejected, what if I don't do well, etc. All these things coming into your mind like that you don't really need initially. It's that little thing of, when you're looking at a mountain and you want to walk up that mountain, you're staring at it and you're like, oh my god, it's massive, I don't know if I can do this, and you're already second guessing it. So one of those things of like, look at your feet and just count every step, like each step. It's just one step and now you're closer. Oh, there's another step. Look at that. You're even closer. That's insane. So it's like chipping away at it. So I wouldn't be like, don't look at the massive picture and think, okay, I want to be a DJ. I want to be like Steve Aoki. You can be like, that could be inspirational, but that could be quite daunting too. So it'd be reach out just to 2 or 3 people that you know of that's in that kind of network or in that industry, and just say, I want to pick your brain. Like, I want to pick your brain, because lo and behold, when you do start to reach out to people, they'll respect you. And if they do respect you enough, you'll be now in their minds of, oh, actually, I could probably really help you. Something might pop up in the future and they'll hit you up again and be like, hey, are you still doing this? It gives you a little bit of a kick. So maybe you've taken a bigger step towards that mountain because of that. So I'd always say reach out. Like, there are people there for a reason. Like, people, I know, like, you think, oh, like, I was always someone who didn't want to like I felt like a burden. Oh, hey, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me here? But then the more I just like, okay, just stop, just ask. Some people, they might not, they're busy. But then some people will literally, and I'm sure like me or you, would just be like, like, I will help. Like, what do you need?
How can I help?
Or can I point you in a direction of someone who can help if I can't? So I'd say, reach out to like 3 or 4 people in that kind of vibe that you want. And YouTube. YouTube is, man. You can learn how to get rid of like a body on YouTube, like a dead body, you can learn anything. So
someone like, sitting at their desk going, that was my passion. Yes, that's what I wanted to do.
My passion.
That's what I want to do.
7 points on that.
I love that.
You can teach absolutely anything.
It is so true. I'm actually like in the process of, it's taking me longer than I thought, but I'm creating a video right now to say thank you to what you're just talking about. Every creator who's ever put a video out there that's teaching someone something, because thank you. Like, I can learn anything I want with a few clicks of my finger. That is insane to me. And it's from everyone. Doesn't mean everyone's getting paid to do these things. A lot of them are people just doing it for free because they want to share their knowledge. And it's like, it's just such a beautiful part of humanity. I love that.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. Like, and like you were saying, people have had conversations before, and like there's just so much stuff on the internet. So go find it. Like, it's literally there. Type it. I remember when I started DJ, I was like, beginner DJ, click, and then it just snowball. I was like, wow, I'm in. I was like, wait, what controller? When I bought that controller, what program got that program, kind of was like, okay, I'll get a speaker. It wasn't the best one, but I was like, oh, no, we're doing something now. Like, so, and then I started reaching out to my other friends. Hey, and do you have CDJs, like that other kind of equipment? Can I borrow that? And then like, oh, I'll teach you. I'm like, yeah,
thank you.
And then when you're kind, and you're nice as well, like, and you're kind, like people will help. So it's like it's like a kind of, I don't know, what's the word? Oh, my favorite saying.
Full cycle?
No, a simple act of caring creates an endless ripple. When you do one thing that's nice to someone, they're more likely to do something nice, and it's an endless ripple through the rest of the world.
I love that. It's so freaking true. We do have the power to do so many amazing things, but believing in yourself is step one, and there's so many resources. Fine, now I'm going to Google how to get my voice back. YouTube, help me.
Stop yelling in the club.
I know, right? I haven't actually been to a club in so long, and I filmed a party the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, how did I used to do this? Just talking to people is like broken my throat. But anyway, saying it to the pro. But thank you so much for your time, my love. I have had so much fun chatting with you, and I'm so grateful that we get to share a bit of your perspective and your wisdom with anyone who's listening. And just keep doing what you're doing, because you inspire the hell out of me every time I see you on my screen. You're just literally sunshine. So thank you.
It can be fun. Life can be really good. And hashtag just enjoy.